Okay, Shalom Akim, Kahalayim La Yahabashim Yashabashim Hakulash, and once more double honors to the greats and apostles. Thalia Shah for the strength and also made this video. Here as I find it edifying and exhorting. So, part 4, to the video that I was making based on Moab is the testing ground. And they were watching about how it's using these robot wolves, to really these are going to be tools using the third woe, World War III. So Moab is really preparing, man. It's not just Moab, these other nations as well, as we've read in Joel 3. Let the weak say I am strong. But anyway, so Revelation 11 and 14, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. So again, second woe refers to World War II. Third woe, which means ultimate destruction, or a high level of destruction rather, it really represents World War III. Just to clarify that point there. Alright, let's watch some of this as well. We're going to get some precepts, man.
Inside human soldiers, but also do kung fu that potentially can fight. And last week's China's People's Liberation Army released a video of army exercises. And look at the stars. Robot wolves, armed and fighting alongside human soldiers. Now, China first unveiled an early version of this new weapon a couple of years ago, but this latest model looks more rugged and advanced. It is still steered by pilots, but wait until these robot wolves get artificial intelligence so that they can fight independently, identifying and targeting their own targets using their independent judgment.
That reminds me of a Black Mirror episode, man. There's a Black Mirror episode of which there's actually, I mentioned this some time ago. There was actually a robot dog. Black Mirror robot dog episode. I don't know what season it was, but it's one of the seasons for sure. Oh, it's called Metalhead. Yeah, that's what it's called, Metalhead. Don't get no copyright, man. I mean, it is muted, but that's what's playing there. Oh yeah, even better. Yeah, it was this thing, man. Oh my days. The way this thing moves, my gosh. It was scary when watching it, of course, in terms of what am I even saying? But yeah, the way it moved, man. It'll make a person's heart pump. But yeah, this is what Ma got over there. Of course, not to this as well. I say not to this as well, but this is what they're showing us. This is what they're showing us. Imagine what they actually have behind the scenes. How much more further advancements do they have? Does Esau have as well? When that time comes, it will all be unveiled. So that's what it reminded me of, man. It's called Metalhead, a Black Mirror episode. I don't know what season it was. Hold on. Yeah, man, that thing. Oh my days. Anyways, oh no, where is it? Something I wanted to show, but then. Oh yeah. I was trying to look for the season, just to refer it. But it's one of them seasons, man. One of those seasons. Just go to Netflix. You see it's called Metalhead. That's what the episode is called. And you're gonna see that robotic creature, man. That's what reality is reflecting right now.
And if you think talk of Chinese attacks, well, it's all alarmist, warmonger, check out the warning posted by China's foreign ministry just last week after Japan's prime minister suggested Japan would defend Taiwan from a Chinese invasion. I'll translate it for you. It was actually in Japanese, warning Japan any attempt to provoke the bottom line of the Chinese people will inevitably be met with a severe counterattack from China. Their heads will be split open and they will be covered in blood. A Chinese consul in Japan even warned Japan's leader on X that China wouldn't hesitate to cut off a dirty neck.
Damn, as you see it there, man. You got flipping threats from the Chinese, you know, Moab's threatening them on. You know, because the Japanese are the Ammonites as well, by the way. So Chinese being Moabites, Japanese being Ammonites. You know, they're going head to head right now, man. You know, which technically, you know, you could liken them as, because if you understand the story of Lot and the daughters, you know, you could liken them as, I don't know what to call it. I was going to say brothers, but that's probably too close. But, you know, they're related in a very, what's the word? In a way that isn't typical. Let's just say that. You know, you just gotta read the story of how Lot and of course his daughters, you know, did their business, and then that's when the nation of Moab, the nation of Ammon, then came into fruition. But anyways, to get down to the video though, but yeah, Moab's going quite strict, man. Trying to go head to head with the Japanese, you know, the Ammonites. So Moab is on some serious business right now. And of course their confidence comes from, of course, the Most High blessing them with those resources, those technologies, you know, and the wisdom to, of course, advance in that realm of things. Right, let me get this, because that's really the point of that video. I wanted to get back to this as well and replay it, because it was something that I was gonna get to. Because in this time as well, you know, there's many jakes out there, man. They really don't know what's going on. You know, they may think that it's cool, you know, all of this technology, you know, convenience or whatnot, you know, hailing up Moab. But at the end of the day, if you ain't got knowledge of the scriptures, you're done. You're done. It's a done deal. Wraps. So Hosea 4 verse 6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law, which is the scriptures, by the way, of thy power. I will also forget thy children. So again, key phrase. It says, my people are destroyed. What, for what reason? The lack of knowledge. The knowledge of the scriptures, man. Let me get Proverbs 1. You know, it says here, Proverbs 1 verse 7, the fear of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahshua, is the beginning of knowledge. So even just to start off with, you gotta have fear of Yahweh Shem Yahshua as the beginning of it, man. You know, the foundation of it. It says, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So of course Jake is likened unto fools, because they ain't got the fear of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Hence why, you know, the law is not in their mind. You know, it's not even in their thoughts either. Alright, where is this video? Alright, so yeah, man, that's really the point. Let me rewind, and then let me hear this guy again.
我还没扫。
哦，你还没
先
扫。
扫
哦，这个
商
还
品是吧？
对对。
请使用微信刷脸恢复盒码支付，支付成功前请不要走开哦。招聘，请向店员出示支付凭证，欢迎下次光临。
You do it with your fingers, with your hand. Incredible. Whoever thought you might come out and without having any money with you, you just pay with this. Here we go. So from now I'm going to stop using my fingers the wrong way, on the wrong side.
Which of course he's joking around it, but at the end of the day, you know, he ain't got no idea what's going on, man. So, you know, the MOTB and what he ought to be shining his eyes for, looking out for in these times, man, which of course is the responsibility of us as watchmen, you know, to warn, read together the elect, because they're the ones who actually have the competency to comprehend the message that we're having. For a regular two-third or a Jake out there in the world, they ain't got no idea, man. They got no idea. So let me get this preset. I'm gonna get a free preset, and yeah, so I'm gonna close out. The main point was made in part 3, part 2 and part 3. But this is just to wrap it all up. So this is Proverbs 15 and verse 7. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the foolish doeth not so. So of course, the point is really the core knowledge is really of these scriptures. But of course, one who is foolish, wouldn't disperse this type of wisdom. All they know is just the wisdom of the world. All this guy knows, it's really, it's the programming of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua. He's just running his programming, right now. So, Jake just being Jake out there. But by the end of the day, after Esau's kingdom sorted out, and, go around to the rest of the Israelites over there in the world, the rest of the world that haven't been destroyed by these nukes, which really the nukes are going to be focused on Babylon anyways. Then we're going to go to them and set them straight and say, alright, you're going to serve Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, or you're not going to serve Yahweh Hashem Yahshua. And then for those who reject us, they're going to have to be reset. Go to the spirit realm, be reborn again, and then that'll be it, man. That's why I read, I think earlier on in the verses, choose ye this day whom you will serve. So because that's literally what we're going to be doing. As it says in Revelation 21, after the crowning ceremony. So after the crowning ceremony, as it says there in Revelation 21 verse 1, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first sea were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Of course, that's talking about the elect, 144,000, reference in Revelation 14. Coming down from those chariots after the crowning ceremony, after they get their incorruptible crowns. As it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 25, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate, self-control, self-restraint in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown. Those of the world, 2/3, the Michael Jordans, the Michael Jacksons, those who have had their names in this world. But we, an incorruptible. So that's what I meant by the incorruptible crowns, that we're going to get that crowning ceremony, man, that Yahushua's going to put on top of our heads. And after that, Revelation 21, as I said before, we're then going to come down, and of course to the rest of the Israelites across the world. We're basically going to do this. Joshua 24 verse 15. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord Yahweh, choose you this day whom ye will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served, and that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell. For as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord Yahweh. So that's what we're going to do, man. In fact, Yaratazar, let me see if I can find a little clip. There's other little, I was going to say cartoon, a little animation series called Invincible, man, where you got the Viltrumites, which represent the Israelites, and then you got this guy called Conquest actually coming in to set it down straight. And then it reminded me of this scripture right here. So let me just find it quickly, Yaratazar, and then play it, and we'll just close it out on this precept again. Alright, I found it now, so let me just play it quickly.
Stand ready for my arrival, Worm. You were given orders. You were given time. You were given more leeway than most, and yet I find this planet unprepared for the arrival of our Viltrum Empire.
This isn't a good time.
The Empire anticipated your resistance, which is why they sent me. I am Conquest, and I am your last chance to fulfill your duty.
You don't understand. All this is my fault. So the only thing I want to do right now is hit something as hard as I can.